Welcome to Your Author Platform podcast with John Friedel. Do you find yourself investing a great deal of time and energy into writing your books, yet struggling to reach enough readers? I understand how you feel. I'm here to help you change that. If you're looking to boost your momentum, connect with your audience like never before, and become more profitable in ways your fans appreciate, today's episode will confidently guide you forward. Hello, authors. It's wonderful to spend time with you for another episode of the Your Author Platform podcast, which I host every few days to help you connect with your audience, boost your book sales, and ultimately enhance both your lives and theirs. I hope to positively impact your life today so you can better connect with your fans. In case you missed it, on my last episode, I went over only 3 essential types of entrepreneurial videos. I hope you enjoyed listening to my last episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. For today's episode number 13 discusses find your fans who love listening to podcasts. Imagine sitting in your basement or at the kitchen table after the kids have gone to sleep. Recording your podcast, whether alone or with a few friends, requires little more than that. Some of your fans exclusively listen to podcasts. You're just the person to Some of your fans exclusively listen to podcasts. You're just the person to engage them. Full disclosure, some links to products and services in the show notes below earn an affiliate commission at no cost to you. I've entered those in the show notes. Name your podcast after your website. If you use your name for the website because that URL is available, that will be your podcast name. Alternatively, if you choose your superhero name, that will serve as the name of your podcast. So if your superhero name was what you chose for your website, that is what you'd use for your podcast for brand recognition. It doesn't need to be complicated. Remember, you're aiming for brand recognition. Whatever you decide for your website should also be used for your podcast, YouTube channel, and all your social media sites. But details matter. For your podcast name, I have 2 errors you should avoid. Don't start your podcast name with the. Don't use the word podcast in your podcast name. Why? If you browse Apple Podcasts and scroll down through all the podcasts alphabetically until you reach the, what do you notice? You'll see countless podcasts, and you would be hurting your chances if you made your podcast hard to find for your fans. Also, avoid using podcast in your podcast name as it is redundant. After all, it's already a podcast. As an author, you understand the importance of making every word count. Podcasting is easy. How hard is it to technically have a podcast? Frankly, it's not very difficult at all. If you can handle emails, you have the skills to have a functioning podcast. It's that easy to start basic podcasting. Let me take some of the mystery away from having a podcast. You need 5 things to become a podcaster. 1, computer or tablet or smartphone with an internet connection or Wi-Fi. 2, a microphone. 3, a podcast host service. 4, a show name. 5, your content. I'll share a secret. Podcast doesn't succeed unless you genuinely love your topic. And I know you enjoy your book. Everything else is just minutia. At its simplest, recording a podcast means talking into a microphone, saving the audio file, and uploading it to a podcast host distribution service. That's all you need to start a podcast. But what happens if your podcast becomes famous? A simple website would be helpful for your listeners, as each episode might have show notes. That's where you'll find where you'll place links you mention, like local news articles, photos, or whatever else you might share with your audience. How hard is it to have a website associated with your podcast? It's dead easy. This moment seems the perfect time to welcome you as a fellow indie podcaster. As after discussing any topic After discussing any topic you desire in a podcast episode, save the audio file in a location where you can easily upload it. Where should you upload it? To a podcast distribution hosting service. What's a host? What's a podcast host, you ask? Well, let me explain. All podcast shows have hosts. I assume you listen to podcasts. As a listener, why would you know where podcasts originate? Well, Spotify isn't where podcasters upload their audio files, nor are they sent to the various other platforms where people find podcasts like Apple Podcasts. Instead, you'll upload your podcast episode to a service that handles everything for you. Nice, right? You might need to create a new account with Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or other podcast platforms. Once you've completed that, you can provide that information to your podcast host, who arranges the technical details. Two of the best podcast hosts are Libsyn, which stands for Liberated Syndications, and Blubrry. Now, I didn't say that wrong. It's not blueberry, it's blueberry. So BLUBRRY. It's not a misspelling, it's blueberry. The monthly fee for a podcast host starts at $5 with Libsyn and $12 with Blueberry. Any of these hosting plans is all you need to start distributing your podcast everywhere. If you listen to podcasts, you'll notice that episodes include an introductory hook, a content-rich middle section, and a concluding hook. Between these parts, encourage listeners to subscribe to your email list. This would be sort of a sales pitch. And the sales pitches for your own product, your own subscription. Use the same phrases consistently, episode after episode, because repetition is effective. The introductory hook might benefit from a paid voice actor or AI discussing your podcast. You can purchase voiceovers for this purpose from various sources, but you will need to script them. The end hook includes an optional sales pitch and a brief description of your next episode. Conclude with your website's value proposition. Mine is connect with fans, build your community. That sort of value proposition. The content-rich middle section is where show formats come in. Several are possible. Interviews or conversations with co-hosts, audio track from various live streams, and reading your website article. In the 200 episodes of my prior podcast, I use all three of these show formats at different times. Interviews are easy because you only must script your questions and responses and maybe think on your feet as far as when they answer whether or not you want to do a follow-up question. The person being interviewed supplies the rest of the content, requiring less effort overall. Reading a previously written article from a website is straightforward, while the audio of a live stream where you did the same might be better because it includes maybe an hour of questions from fans afterwards. You might also have one or more co-hosts to record conversations. Although I've never had a co-host, I've been asked to take on that role with someone else. My only advice is to treat it like a long-term commitment, like a marriage. That's how you're successful with that. Next is audio editing software. I recommend free software, specifically Audacity. If you have an Apple computer, it comes installed with GarageBand, which is free. You can use audio editing software such as Adobe Audition, part of the Adobe collection of software packages like Photoshop. And Premiere for video editing. But there's also Hindenburg Pro. The Audio Audition provides a 7-day free trial, while Hindenburg Pro offers a 30-day trial. That's all the audio editing software you'll likely ever need. Each software package is incredibly user-friendly. You'll learn to use it quickly, I promise. Let's start by for podcasting equipment. Let's start by discussing the minimum requirements First, please avoid using a microphone on a laptop or computer. They sound terrible. You deserve better than that. However, any microphones connected to a computer or smart device generally sounds good. Do you own a pair of Apple AirPods? Great. Now you have your microphone. Or maybe you have one like this, which is more like $500. Are you looking for a slightly better microphone? High quality mics can become quite pricey, but many affordable low-end options are available. For the low-end options, I recommend the Audio Technica ATR 2100 or the Samsung Q2U, both priced around $80 or less, each on Amazon. You might want to an even better microphone. There are many options for podcast microphones. For my podcast, I quickly upgraded to the Shure SM7B, but I also love the Hale PR40, which I don't have in front for here to show you. Both microphones are excellent and cost around $400 each on Amazon. However, high quality microphones require an interface, which I have right there. Which I can't show you because I'm using it. These microphones don't have a USB connection, but the interface does. You need to plug one or more microphones into the interface and then connect the interface to your computer using the USB cable provided. I've also enjoyed using Focusrite's Scarlett 2i2 microphone interface. This interface connects two microphones to your computer, and Focusrite offers Scarlett interfaces that can connect many more microphones, 1, 2, 4, 8. Other items include accessories such as microphone stands, cables, pop filters, headphones, and possibly an inline adapter. Preamp, excuse me. The headphones I've found to be very comfortable for hours are the Beyerdynamic DT770 Studio Pro headset. I recommend the highly regarded Cloudlifter CL1 preamp, preamplifier, also from Amazon. So in summary, imagine sitting in your basement or at the kitchen table after the kids have gone to sleep. Recording your podcast alone or with a few friends doesn't require much more. Let's say they're not in the room with you. In that case, both of you need something like Skype or Zoom to hold and record a conversation. Remember to visit yourauthorplatform.com/subscribe to receive my free report revealing the top 3 essential tools for enhancing your connection with fans, including the one I've used as a nonfiction author and influencer. If you have community examples, perhaps your own, of how you've helped your community, a simple example that I can talk about here, that would be wonderful. Please send that to me at john@yourauthorplatform.com. I would appreciate it and love to use that, promote that on my podcast. The next episode of the, remember to visit yourauthorplatform.com/subscribe to receive my free report. The next Your Author Platform podcast episode will include another presentation on an essential topic for authors looking to connect with their fans and build a thriving community. If you have questions, feel free to email me at john@yourauthorplatform.com and I'll do my best to respond. If you have more than a few questions, consider booking a 1-hour one-on-one consultation at yourauthorplatform.com/consult. My calendar has limited openings, but some are still available. I look forward to working with you to answer all your questions. That's the end of another great episode of the Your Author Platform podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I plan to release the next episode very soon, and I have more amazing content for the show. Until then, connect with fans and build your community. Goodbye.